Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the show. Before we dive in, please subscribe and give this video a thumbs up. If you have been keeping up with the Brown family from Sister Wives, you are going to want to listen to every word of this. After leaving Cody, Janelle and Mary Brown are finally opening up. And what they're sharing about their lives is raw, surprising, and brutally real. The past couple of years have been far from smooth sailing for the family. With Christine, Janelle, and Mary all gone, Robin is the only wife who stayed with Cody. But now, in the explosive tell-all in season 19, secrets are being revealed about what really went down. Even with the emotional drama, Mary and Janelle aren't merely reflecting. They're making brash, candid confessions, particularly regarding their personal relationships and sex lives. These are the moments that reveal to us the extremely rare insight into their process of healing. Let's begin with Cody. In segment 3 of the tell-all, he discusses the backlash for being physically affectionate with Robin around the family. He reports some relatives disowned them for being too openly affectionate. He didn't provide much specificity, but indicated he'd rather not go there, unless Janelle or Mary marry him again. Interestingly, some accounts indicate that tensions boiled over during the funeral of Garrison, when feelings were at their most intense, and Cody's attendance might have unleashed further family bickering, perhaps even resentment against Janelle for abandoning ship. And now for Mary, who spoke candidly in the newest teaser for Part 4 of the tell-all. She discussed her post-Cody life, including her sex life. She acknowledged she hasn't been active in a very long time. Friends quipped she ought to keep protection handy, but Mary firmly shot back that she wouldn't be needing any. She isn't seeking out any romantic or intimate relationships at this point. Host Suki politely instructed her to move on when the time comes, and Mary concurred. She is moving at her own pace and taking her time. Mary also shared her puzzlement regarding Cody's being upset over her leaving their church. She never heard him say so while they were together, she said, making his emotional outburst now confusing and misplaced. However, Mary is not behind the times. She had already begun moving on last year when she started dating Amos Andrews. The relationship didn't last for more than a few months. At the same time, Janelle has also been very candid about her personal life. She shared that although intimacy is a personal affair, lack of it has become infuriating for her. She clarified that she is not asexual, and she does aspire to connect with someone new in the future. When Janelle initially arrived in the family, her own mom even told Cody not to be physically intimate with Mary, a sign of stress from the very beginning. Today, Janelle is recognizing her own needs and looking towards what's to come. But something more than meets the eye is going on with Janelle. Last week, she alluded to mental health issues in an Instagram post. She posted a photo of graffiti she rode by on a bike ride, quoting Mel Robbins, "You're not anxious, you're just having anxious thoughts." That really resonated with her, a reminder that we tend to let our situation get to us, when in reality, it does not. She thought more deeply about it in that blog post, writing that we get so caught up in our circumstances sometimes that we start to feel as though we are the circumstance. It was a raw, introspective observation that many of her fans agreed with. She even quoted Simon and Garfunkel, pointing out how the prophet's words are written on the subway walls, just as that bit of graffiti. It was a lyrical, heart-wrenching reminder that recovery and renewal can come in the most unlikely forms. And then Janelle released a stunning revelation in her solo tell-all interview. She claimed that she thinks Cody exhibits behaviors indicative of being a narcissist. She talked about a persistent cycle of love bombing, something typical of narcissists. Despite stating she isn't a psychologist, the actions and behavior closely resembled what she went through. Instead of calling him out directly, she merely stated she would leave it up to the viewers to decide. Her honesty and strength have struck a chord with fans. Fans view her as one of the most level-headed and reflective members of the family. Her grace in dealing with her pain has earned her a fan following. So what do we learn from all of this? Janelle and Mary aren't merely existing, they're healing, telling their truth and moving on. Life after Cody isn't easy, but both women are showing that there's life and growth after heartbreak. Stay tuned for more news as we continue to track the Brown family's saga. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and enable notifications. This one's not over yet. Quick reminder, don't forget to subscribe and give this video a thumbs up if you're here for authentic stories, unfiltered emotions, and what really goes on behind the sister wives' headlines. This one gets deep, and you're going to want to stick around till the end. The lives of the Brown women have taken dramatic twists since separating from Cody. Cody Deliana Cortegisa, what used to look like a stable, albeit untraditional, family setup has completely disintegrated. But out of that breakdown, something remarkable has started: healing. Let's begin with Janelle Brown, who recently posted about finding friendship and happiness again. She posted photos of herself with two women, one an old buddy, the other a new friend she met on her birthday celebration last month. "Thankful for friends, old and new," she wrote in the caption. It was no ordinary road trip, it was a reflection of her settling into a life beyond the shadow of her previous marriage. "It was Laus the Norn her beaut the placing it," Janelle Brown. It's no longer a secret now that Janelle has said her piece. She has no desire to be friends with Cody or Robin. She actually chuckled, along with fans who made jokes about knives in the kidneys, a reference to Cody's notorious emotional breakdown. But underneath all that laughter is a woman who is finally brave enough to express exactly what she's thinking. And as Janelle takes back her own space, so does Mary. The two women stand at a critical juncture in their lives, free from a man and a building that once defined them. Having their shared history behind them, they are remaking, not in bitterness, but in self-respect and honesty. Mary, whose stoical strength was garnered through a love that rewarded her with little in return, has started to open up recently, speaking openly for once about her personal life, or rather the lack of it, with a blend of humour and inner resilience. Though friends mocked her for hoarding protection, she made it plain. That chapter of her life is in suspended animation. She's not going to rush into things, and more importantly, she's not running after affection that does not respect her worth. Nevertheless, under the laughter is a woman who has had spiritual betrayal and emotional disillusion. She explained that when she quit the church, Cody grieved her departure, but had not had the same feeling during those years that she remained and struggled. "He mourned my leaving," she said, "but never mourned the years I was still there." That sentence says it all. But Mary waits no longer for approval. Last year she even enjoyed a temporary happiness with a man outside of her previous religious acquaintance group. Although that relationship failed, it was a milestone, evidence that her heart remains open, still in the mood to try again despite the hurt. Janelle, as practical as ever, stands alone with dignity. Respected for her level head and understated strength, she acknowledged that the absence of physical connection in her life has had an impact. She holds intimacy in high esteem as something to be cherished, reserved only for relationships built upon trust and mutual respect. She's not actively pursuing it, but if the right individual comes along, she won't close the door. Her own heart, too, is mending after all those years of being a backup plan in a marriage where love was more of a threat than a haven. And though their journeys differ, Mary and Janelle share one thing in common: they're no longer measuring themselves against what they've lost. Rather, they're concentrating on what they've gained: insight, resilience, and the opportunity to live life on their own terms. These new discussions, some of which were caught on camera during Season 19's Tell All, and others which were shared online, aren't surprising due to drama. They're strong due to their authenticity. They're revealing two women who have gone through the fire and who are opting to rise without apology. No longer held back by expectation or repression, they are stepping into their power. The veil has been lifted. Janelle and Mary are not merely former wives, they are complete persons, forged by adversity but not by it. The narrative is no longer about Cody, it's about them. So tune in with us as we continue to chart their paths, because what lies in store for these women is no longer surviving, it's thriving. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe for more, and let us know in the comments which moment resonated most with you. Until next time, stay strong, stay true, and keep moving forward.
Before we dive in, be sure to subscribe and like this video if you're here for real journeys, healing, and inner power. What we're about to give you is way more than reality TV. It's raw emotions of two women rebuilding their lives after loss. Let's begin where things left off. A fractured home, years of emotional weight, and two women, Mary and Janelle Brown, finally stepping into the light. In the aftermath of their spiritual breakups, both women have grieved deeply. Not only the loss of a mate, but the disintegration of a life they worked decades crafting. But rather than splintering, they've opted to reconstruct. And that reconstruction isn't born out of anger. It's born out of clarity. Mary has welcomed solitude, not as a form of punishment, but as a blessing. She's immersing herself in individual growth, rediscovering nature, re-establishing friendships, and finding calm in the silence. What was once void in her existence now is space. Space to develop, to exhale, and to evolve.
Meanwhile, Janelle has characterized this stage of life as one of planting, putting down new roots in fresh earth. She's looking to nature as both her metaphor and her inspiration. Where Mary compares her path to cutting back a thicket and allowing light to shine at last, Janelle talks about renewal, one gentle, grounded step at a time. These are more than inspirational concepts, they're practical methodologies for healing and self-protection. They are doing this together, rewriting the story. In a society that routinely informs women their worth is found in relationships, these two are showing the world the opposite. Solitude can be holy, healing is a slow process, and the greatest permission is the one you give yourself, to feel, to rest, to desire more, and to be noticed. Their introspection about intimacy extends beyond the physical. For each of them, it's about taking back control, about establishing boundaries, about saying, not yet, and perhaps not ever unless it's right. Such self-honesty is revolutionary in an instant gratification, always together world. What is so inspiring is that they've ceased acting. No longer a supporting character in another's narrative, Mary and Janelle are now the masters of their own. Whether love returns or not, it will be on their own terms. And if not, that's just fine. For what they've discovered already is far stronger, themselves. Janelle, more specifically, has moved into her truth with strength and grace. For years, fans had admired her calm, measured demeanor. But now, she's unfolding the more emotional interior that lay behind those composed facades. She's been frank about the emotional toll of her past, the constant cycle of affection and withdrawal, the confusion it created, and the constant insidious draining of self-esteem. In her interviews, she refrains from diagnosing her former partner, but invites a broader discourse on emotional manipulation, not always shouty, but no less pernicious. Even her Instagram updates have been silent windows into her evolution. A standout moment was when she posted a picture of urban graffiti that had brought her up short. It was not merely graffiti, it was a message to her, a reminder that we tend to confuse our present situation with who we are. Quoting motivational speaker Mel Robbins, Janelle reflected on the power of reframing thoughts. You're not anxious, you're having anxious thoughts. That small shift gave her space, emotional space, the kind of space that leads to breakthroughs. This graffiti was not vandalism to her, it was clarity. It caused her, and all of us, to remember that knowledge can be found in the most unlikely places, and that even amidst the cacophony, there can be beauty. So where do they go from here? The reality is that Mary and Janelle do not need to move anywhere. They are not sprinting towards a new love affair or seeking validation through someone else's perspective. They are still rooted and here, and that is revolutionary. They're not merely making it through the ravages of a dysfunctional family structure. They're flourishing in their own way. Their tales teach us what it is to reclaim tranquility, to put emotional well-being first, and to embrace solitude as anathema to loneliness, but rather liberation. These women no longer exist in another person's narrative. They are the authors of their own, and that is the story to follow. If you've made it this far, thank you. Let us know in the comments which part of Janelle or Mary's journey resonates most with you. Don't forget to subscribe for more real stories, personal awakenings, and updates from the lives of women who are no longer waiting for permission to live boldly. Until next time, keep growing, keep healing, and remember your story is your power. If you're here for truth, transformation, and stories that matter, you're in the right place. So go ahead and subscribe, hit that like button, and let's get into it. Today we're discussing Janelle Brown, but not just the public figure you've seen on screen. This is Janelle unfiltered, Janelle rebuilding, Janelle rediscovering herself. After leaving behind a life of mutual traditions and emotional depth, Janelle Brown is penning a new chapter, a raw, honest, and surprisingly liberating one. This isn't only about heartbreak, this is about healing. Having spent decades in a plural family structure that too often had her stretched to the limit and feeling emotionally starved, Janelle is reclaiming her life, a quiet epiphany at a time. One post captured it all. A humble image of graffiti art, and yet to Janelle it brought her up short. Not because of its size or hue, but because of its message. It reminded her, and subsequently her fans, that we are not by our current hurt. As she described it, we conflate identity with situation, but they are not interchangeable. She even compared it to a lyric from a well-known song, a spark of truth in the background noise. Her fans immediately understood. Some posted that they had spotted the same graffiti. Others opened themselves up about their own struggles, creating an unexpected public forum where vulnerability intersected with validation. One fan wrote, "Our struggles inform us, but do not form us." Janelle went on to repost that reflection because it resonated with him. Healing, however, wasn't solitary. With a rare glimpse of pure happiness, Janelle posted photos of a birthday drive around, two companions at her side, one old and one new. What we witnessed wasn't merely a party, it was a woman finding joy again, with others, and the post said it all. When friends arrive at your birthday getaway, prepared to hit home. Fans inundated the comments with love, support, and inside jokes, even quoting her now famous line, "I just don't like them." No filter, just truth. Freeing, candid, and funny. Her candor was more than a breath of fresh air. It was revolutionary. Janelle has since brought us further into her process. She's explained how meditation, therapy, and reading have assisted her in reframing her life. Where she previously saw silence as rejection, now she sees it as space. Where she previously internalized chaos, now she sees systemic dysfunction. Small changes in attitude, but strong enough to change her entire reality. Her posts silently instruct, adversity doesn't define us, it develops us. What's most strong about Janelle's story is this: she doesn't pose as knowing it all. She speaks not from a mountaintop, but from the middle of the ascent. That's why it rings true. She's not beyond it. She's simply no longer allowing it to own her. And in a world that celebrates instant recovery and ideal endings, Janelle reminds us that the most authentic journeys are the ones with rough terrain. This is a reclaiming of the life she was never fully enabled to have, a life in which boundaries are held, in which friendship is elected, in which quiet is embraced, in which laughter arises unexpectedly, and joy, at last, feels deserved. Janelle Brown is no longer acting on someone else's script. She is living on her own terms, whole, wild, and unapologetically. If you were seen in this story, leave a comment below. Which moment resonated with you the most? Was it the graffiti epiphany, the road trip happiness, the stillness reframing hurt? Subscribe that button, forward this video to someone who needs to see it, and join us again for more stories of healing, wholeness, and hope. Because the best stories are the ones we live ourselves.